What even is happening?
That was
Ed?
wild,
What
man.
is
That
what
was
even is
wild.
happening?
Oh, that was
Ed?
wild.
That's what it is. Okay, restart. Everybody forget what just happened, okay?
I mean, you can remember it. Just know that Holden's fault.
Just know that it was definitely my fault what just happened, okay? But we're going to restart the theme song, okay? Holden and Ed Larson. Ed, I can't believe I just did. It's so insulting. It's your show. Please. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's our show. When I'm here, it's our show. Come on.
I know, but it feels weird to say, welcome to the brighter side. You know what I mean? It's
fine. I mean? You can say it.
Okay,
Go ahead,
good.
say it. Say
welcome
it.
to the brighter side live.
God damn, that sounded great.
With your host, Holden McNeely, and special guest, Edward Larson. How are you, man?
How you doing? Feeling negative?
Fantastic. Me too, dude.
Actually, I'm feeling great.
Okay, good, because I got to talk about this. Holden, turn up your mic a lot, and Ed's mic up a little. Okay.
All right.
We can do that.
Enough, maybe we will, maybe we
will, maybe we won't. I think it's better now. I turned up
Okay.
my mic. I wasn't able to turn your mic up because your mic up's all the way. So we'll just give
Yeah,
there you go. We'll just have you speak up. But thank you actually for the audio feedback. My God, a day stream, my life 4 hour. Hello, McManwich. I don't know either, man. I feel like I am off kilter.
What's
I'm
up,
not gonna
man?
lie.
I haven't seen you. I've been in town for a week.
My foot hurts.
Don't care.
The
Next.
Streamlabs wouldn't release the money that people donated over a couple $100s, but that got fixed this morning, so I
That's
can't
pretty
complain
fun.
about that anymore. A lot of negativity going around in the world, I think,
Dude,
between
I
Game
will
of Thrones
yeah.
and just like the whole crazy shit with the creek, which was kind of a little. I did kind of pull out a bag of popcorn.
I would love to talk about that.
I did kind of pull out a bag of popcorn and sit back and put the shades on and
I
just
feel bad
scroll
for
Twitter.
Rebecca.
I feel a little bad for Rebecca as well, but at the same time, you know what's hilarious about that? Okay, we have to give like a decent little overview of what happened.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to just say really quick spoiler alert about what pisses me the fuck off. Everybody wants to pop off all day long on Twitter when there's an issue. Is the second it gets resolved, tumbleweeds, baby. I didn't see barely anyone after it got resolved.
When did it get resolved?
Thank you for resolving this. Rebecca had the show moved. She released a very solid statement about it.
I thought the show still happened.
No, it happened, but it didn't happen at the creek.
Problem
fucking solved, and no one's. As soon as it got resolved, deathly silence, and that is the state of social media, right?
Yeah.
There was literally, I think there was one person who was popping off a little bit about it who actually said something nice after, and that was Jared. Who, and he wasn't even being that bad before, but he still had his little fucking shit to say. And then after it got resolved, he was like, "Thank you, Rebecca. That was actually a really good way to handle that, and this is fine."
I think I feel like nothing can kill the creek.
Yeah,
I feel like you can like just shoot like bazookas at the creek, and for some reason it would just like go through and not hit anything.
I agree. So let's start off with this overview then about that stuff, right? And I'll just say about the overview about that stuff is the creek and the cave, the place where obviously all the but we used to
do
Brighter
Cave
Side
Comedy
Radio, yeah. Used to do Brighter Side, everything, round table, all that stuff, right? You know what I mean? Holden's Ho happened in the basement for the first time of the thing. Rebecca handled it great. Thank you, Jake Young, for the bits, by the way.
Yes.
So so what happened was this creek and the cave, open space for like comics, but that's a dangerous thing to say a little bit, right?
I love that.
It's an open space for comics, but that means there's a lot of creepy fucking turds that go through that place. You know what I mean? So it does involve a little bit of maintenance. You can't just like open up a space and be like, creepy guys, fucking young aspiring female comics, all mission. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, hey, look at my dick, looks like it's crooked. You know what I mean? So you have to give a little bit of regulation on the shit. All right. And they've dealt with their bullshit in the past. So then Milo Yiannopoulos, all right, comedy podcast, Legion of Skanks, literally self-purported most like offensive podcast on the planet. That's kind of what they tout.
They have a festival called Skankfest.
Yes, and we've done it before. And there's a bunch of great people doing Skankfest. I
love
Big
J. Okerson.
And I do too. I like Big J a lot. I think whatever your opinions are on those guys is kind of beside the point for this discussion, right? They decide to book possible secret Nazi /
not a secret Nazi,
professional
very open
rap,
Nazi.
Very open Nazi. I thought he was like kind of quiet about it a little.
No,
no. Did you hear the karaoke thing where he was with those like Nazi guys and he was like singing a song and they were like sing heiling, and apparently he was just like, I don't have good eyesight, so I didn't see that they were doing that.
Yeah, no, he's good at backtracking. That's the thing is that
that's
the
what
guy,
he does. He's smoking mirrors.
I don't know how to say
Yiannopoulos.
I will not give him the respect
exactly. You
to
don't
learn
want to
his
say
name.
his name.
And so Milo, he's charming as fuck. And
Kinda,
that's how he's gotten this far.
That's how he's got.
And so it is.
And he's an anomaly. Alt-right, gay, British guy with like a black husband, right?
Yeah.
But then also a Nazi. Like that's the part where it's like, what the fuck is this? What is this thing, right? And he goes
called ice on his landlord. He sucks.
He sucks. He's a shitty person. Just like everyone agrees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a great dude. By any means, and then they run a live show out of the creek, and they booked him on it, and people freaked the fuck out. Now, and they popped off a lot on Twitter, and then, dude, the whole thing about the Legion of Skanks guys is that they kind of almost relish in this kind of thing.
They love it.
They love it. They love to be challenged.
They were telling people to kill themselves, and their fans were like telling poor Ron Krasnow.
Massive hate
telling Ron Krasnow he should have died of cancer.
Massive
like
hate
that.
campaign, just back and forth, because people were popping off of them. I will say, only slightly in their defense, my one thing that I will say is like, you have a problem? Rebecca. Call Rebecca.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem? Do you have a problem with what's happening? And I get you can state whatever the fuck you want to say on Twitter, but you have to understand what the consequences are going to be. Sorry, this fucking fan base is off. I'll say a word I kind of hate, toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, they're gonna do what there's no avoiding it. So do you want to give yourself that fucking hassle? And I get it. You're fighting Nazis on Twitter, but are you really? Call Rebecca, dude. Everyone call Rebecca.
If you know her personally or the Legion of Skank guys, I hate when I see I saw a couple comics just straight up call them out on Twitter without even you have their phone number.
Yeah, you know
can talk to them, and if you guys get into an argument, then you can bring it into a public forum. Don't start the argument in front of everybody.
And then not...
Social media sucks sometimes.
I'm so sick of it, dude. And then be so shocked. And I don't want to defend them, you know what I mean? In some way and be like, oh, it's not their fault at all. It's like... if you're gonna, I don't know. I think this was a lesson learned for all parties involved, for Rebecca at the Creek, for the Legion of Skanks, and for people against
I don't think
those
it's a
things.
lesson learned for the Legion of Skanks.
They're
fine no matter what.
Maybe just in the future, if they know that the person they're booking is kind of probably a Nazi or definitely a Nazi, maybe run it by Rebecca. Maybe just run it fucking
They
by.
did run it by her, and she gave the okay.
Okay, that's different then. Different then. Because that was my question. I was like, if no one was freaking out, would this have just still happened?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But the thing is, if it's an open space for all people to talk,
right,
then you gotta let all people talk. I don't know. He's a piece of shit. I don't want to hear him talk, but if you're gonna call yourself a place where anyone can say anything, then you gotta let people say, and then you gotta beat them. If you're going to invite him in, then you got to beat him. But obviously I would never put a Nazi on my live show. But also I would talk to one. I would love to. Honestly, I think that's the biggest problem with this country is we don't talk to each other.
I heard him on Rogan's podcast, and I hate to bring that word up because every time I bring it up, I get fucking shit from people. Dude, I'll literally bring up Rogan, and they'll just be like, Rogan's trash. And I'm like, I don't care what your opinion. I didn't ask your fucking opinion. I'm bringing him up because I'm talking about something else.
Rogan's a smart dude.
I'm not gonna sit here and defend my enjoyment of his fucking podcast. But
I don't listen to his show, but he's smart as fuck.
This is feeding into the other fucking shit, right? Is like I don't even ask for your opinion. I bring something up in association to something else, and you still need to let me know how much you fucking hate it. See, yeah, exactly.
At the same time, though, if we're throwing our opinion out there, we're making them listen to it.
That's true.
You know, we have to be able to take it when they give it back.
Well, my opinion is I don't care about your opinion.
Whoa!
And I'm sick of your shitty opinion.
It's not that I don't care about your opinion. I just choose which ones to care about.
Okay. I care about your opinion until you make a really gross blanket statement
about
something that is just no nuance whatsoever. It's just this thing sucks, period. I don't care about your fucking opinion anymore, dude.
Wow.
If you don't have any nuance to your opinion and you want to sit here, or if you're trying to convince me to not enjoy a thing I enjoy, kind of fuck off a little bit.
Honestly, I mean, I think they're going to end up coming out on top of this. The creek, that is.
I think they're fine. I think by the way,
there's a lot of press.
Everyone freaked out.
The whole world's talking about the creek.
I can't remember that. That's true. Yeah, I don't even know. Everyone freaked out. Everybody, by the way, Jake Young says he cares about all of your opinions. Follow him on Twitter at BestJakeYoung. So if you want to go there, what was I going to say? Of course, Jake Young, co-host from Wizard and the Bruiser. What's up, buddy? What was I going to say?
What show is
that? Wizard and the Bruiser, nerd-based, research-based podcast that we do.
Okay. Who's on
once
that?
a week? Oh, Jake Young, Holden McNeely.
Holden, who is that?
Ooh, he's got controversial opinions. People don't like him. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So they moved the show out of the creek.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it was like, look, people are going to show up literally to throw eggs at this guy. I don't know. Probably don't want to incite a riot.
Or just have eggs all over your theater.
Or just have eggs all over your fucking comedy theater and just like YouTube, Instagram videos and like not good stuff with bad words being thrown around. It'd be like the fucking Native Americans with the red hat kids all over again. No matter what your perspective of the situation, it just looks bad. You know what I mean? No one's going to come out looking necessarily phenomenal.
That was kind of a fun one.
Depending on how you spin it. That was like a perfect encapsulation of everything that is fucking crazy about this country right now.
That kid's trying to sue all the newspapers, and he almost has a case, if you ask me.
As
much as I don't like him and he's a little cocksucker.
Yeah.
He's got a case.
That's the funny thing about him, right? It's like, I also feel like I don't like him at all. And yet he's, I would actually end up probably defending him. Which is so crazy to me. That's where we're at in this country. You know what I mean? Anyways, they moved the show away from the creek. Rebecca released like a really solid statement about all of it. I think everybody should go read it. Read that statement. It really wrapped the whole thing up in a bow. And the fucking thing that drives me crazy is all those people screaming on social media. Deathly silent. Deathly silent. As soon as she let that statement out and the whole thing got resolved, no one said shit. And you know what else no one probably did? Went to the creek that night to say, hey, thank you. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to buy some shit from your establishment now.
I should stop by while I'm in town.
Go
get some beers.
It's just the fact that people just, like gnats to a fucking light bulb, just flock to the fucking controversy. And then the second it actually gets resolved, just off to something else, dude.
On a greater scale, though, I will have to say, I feel like the problem with all of this is our country is so divided right now, and no one wants to talk to each other. They just want to yell at each other and take people's jobs from them and do and boycott places and stuff like that. Instead of if we actually talk to each other like gentlemen and ladies for a little while and human beings, it would be so beneficial, because we would notice that we actually probably agree on most shit, and we just have these little nuances that we could probably find compromises to.
Yes,
by
speaking face to face. My new thing is, if I have an issue with somebody or whatever, even if it has to be over like video chat, we are gonna be looking in each other's eyes when that thing gets dealt with, not text.
I suggest
not email.
Having another person around when you do that.
Sure, that's not bad. Yeah,
because
mediator.
Stories can get twisted.
Having a mediator would actually, you're right. That is actually smart. And let's move into the regular format of the show.
I got a gripe, though.
Oh, yeah,
I want to talk about some shit real quick before we go into this.
My foot hurts, too, by the way. I know I said it earlier.
What's wrong with your foot?
It just hurts. I don't know what's going on.
It's probably gout. Did you eat a bunch of shrimp?
Maybe.
Yeah, you're getting old. Yeah, did you eat crab or shrimp?
I might have.
Yeah, man. God. Yeah, no, that's what happens when you get older. No more shellfish, dude.
No more shellfish, man. All right, we figured that one out. Let's move on. Prior to that, so you just fucking deal with it. You get old, you die. What's yours?
So Historical Roast came out on Monday.
Congratulations. Shocked that I haven't said anything about that.
I love it. It makes me so happy we did it. But we are officially getting some hate.
Really?
Yeah, like a really big Israeli newspaper's mad at us because we roasted Anne Frank.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that.
And then a bunch of a bunch of Dutch people are mad too.
Why?
And
what? You roast shoes? You roasted wooden shoes?
Well,
what are they mad about?
Amsterdam. That's where her Anne Frank house is.
I know. I just really wanted to make that wooden shoes joke. Dude, yeah,
so we've been taking. People have been really upset, but I feel like the people who are really upset didn't watch the episodes because I'm reading their comments,
right?
And I'm reading everything. It's like, how dare you do this? How dare you do that? But like, no one. I don't think anyone is mentioning the jokes. No one's like specific references on what they're offended by.
Wraps exactly back to what we were just talking about.
No one's saying what's upsetting them.
Yeah. There's no nuance to the opinion.
Yeah.
It's just you did bad thing, and I have to immediately fucking come down on it.
Yeah.
Without actually getting into the nuance of it. Without actually. It drives me. How do we fix this? That's like such a difficult question to answer. You know what I mean?
I know who's doing it. I mean, it's coming from both sides. The liberals are a little bit worse at it, I think.
Yes.
But it is definitely coming from both sides.
Definitely from both sides.
Everyone's like, "Oh, how dare you be offended?" But like, and then they're like, "I'm never offended." Oh, I'm so mad at you.
Yes.
You know, that's all it is. It's people claiming they're not offended when they're clearly offended in that moment.
Totally that. It's totally that.
It's stop caring. I don't know. I don't get it why people get so mad all the time. It's so wasteful. It's such a waste of your energy.
Yeah, it's exhausting, man.
You don't like it? Turn it off. Don't go.
I mean, that's exactly why I said when all that stuff went down, when it came to the creek and the cave, like maybe I didn't say this until before we started. I put my I sat back, I grabbed a bucket of popcorn, and I just watched the circus happen. And didn't get involved at all, and literally was just like, what in the fuck is going on? You know what I mean?
Hi, definitely nerdy yerd.
Well, the brighter side of it is, did it get good numbers? Did it get good?
What?
I mean,
the historical roast?
Yeah.
They don't tell you the numbers. Well, Netflix is so secretive. They got all their algorithms. They're like, we're happy, we're not happy. We haven't heard shit yet, so I'm a little worried. But it was such a fun job. I really want to do it again.
Nice.
And I think it matters. I really do. I feel like I learned my history from Mel Brooks.
Right.
You know, and I feel like that's one thing that comedy isn't doing anymore is just like teaching us about the past. And like, you know, it's either too preachy or it's too stupid.
Yeah.
You know, and we're trying to combine stupid and preachy.
Gotcha. And I'll tell you what they're trying to do, too. They're trying to tell you what to do in the future, not teach you about the past. How about that fucking shit, okay?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And people are trying to erase the past. It's a mess. Everything's going fine, but I love Historical Roast. Please go watch it. I saw someone ask if that was Julia's Eleanor Roosevelt. It is Julia's Eleanor Roosevelt. She's beautiful. She's wonderful. And she had she nailed it. She nailed it. Go watch it, please. I got to write on it. I worked hard on the Nelson Mandela monologue and the Babe Ruth monologue and the Harriet Tubman monologue and a bunch of the other ones.
Awesome.
But please.
No one's said about Tubman?
No, I mean, she kills. You know, that's the thing. The MLK show, we haven't gotten any flack. And I'm like, that out of everyone, we should have gotten flack. But at the same time, you know, it's an honor. We honor these people.
Yeah.
And I think that people are, I hope that it will do good. Earlier, I saw someone said Tracy.
Tracy's bad.
Tracy's bad. Maybe said she wanted to test my knowledge on something. And
I think it was your optimism when it comes to their problems. I think he wants us to get into the format of the show. And now that we are almost a half an hour in, maybe we should do that.
Well, we're almost a half hour in already.
Isn't that amazing? We could go a little over. I mean, I don't mind.
That's wild.
Because we haven't actually done the whole, hey, send us in your gripes, send us in the things
we haven't gotten
any
gripes. We haven't gotten any gripes.
And we'd love to try to give you the brighter side. I think we have been working the format, by the way. We start with our own gripes. So
yes.
There's a lot to talk about. I mean, honestly, I haven't even
Shit's
scratched.
been going down, bro.
I haven't even scratched the surface, man. Don't even get me started about the whole negativity around Game of Thrones and shit, man. It's bumming me the fuck out.
Well,
so anyways.
we'll goblin nest it up after this, and we'll talk about that.
We'll have a chat.
If you guys want to ask us about Game of Thrones so we can get that out of the way, that'd be great.
Or just show us pictures of weed. That would help as well.
Ooh.
Tracy's Bad asks, so dudes, I have the headspace to understand that I have been drinking too much. I've been super hard on myself while also changing nothing. What's the brighter side of being a functioning alcoholic? Well,
how functioning are you, Tracy? Are you going to work?
Are you?
Are you getting shit done? I mean, are people mad at you? A friend of mine just had to get Baker acted.
Really?
I won't say who they were, of course.
Do I know?
No, I don't think you might have met them once or twice.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's
damn, Baker acted.
Yeah,
man.
they were going crazy and like drinking like bottles of vodka, and it was a mess. It was a mess, and so they had to go work out. And I'm glad you know that you are drinking too much, and so please, if you are. You gotta cut back. If you know you're drinking too much, you have to cut back.
I'd say, I want to know a little more about the situation. The good thing is that I'd say the brighter side is that you're aware of the problem. Mm-hmm. You're working, not drinking during the day, drinking to sleep. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, one or two before you go to bed. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do it.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like it's probably, if I were to guess, it's probably more than that. Mm-hmm. So I would say,
if you have problems sleeping on a normal basis, maybe drinking's really hard on the liver, but maybe you could do a little what's that called? Indica. Smoke a little weed.
Maybe try the weed a little bit. Maybe we can move on to a different substance. I would say this. Okay, let me throw this out there. Life is nice. Why don't you just be cool with not getting much sleep for like a week?
And then your body adjusts.
And your body will adjust. Why don't you just force yourself for 1 week to take a week off from drinking, just to reset your tolerance, yada, 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 and get used to. And you know what? Maybe you won't be able to sleep for like 2 or 3 nights, but eventually your body will give in and you will be forced to sleep and get back onto a normal schedule. Also, maybe trying an indica or even just like CBD or something like that, some other kind of natural help for sleep. You know what I mean? Like some kind of like how I forget what they use.
Sleepy time tea.
What? Maybe just
warm milk.
You know what the problem is. And I know it's going to be hard to dig within yourself to sleep, especially if you're not working.
It's your brain doing flips on itself.
Yeah, melatonin. There you go. Have some melatonin. Try some other routes to get to sleep. Mm-hmm. If that's primarily why you're drinking. You're like, think of it this way too. Isn't it just getting boring after a while? Wouldn't it be more interesting to see what like a sober day is, a sober night's sleep? I was feeling that way too recently. Tracy's Bad. I was feeling like I was drinking way too much, just in the cycle, in the habit. I'm just like, why do I drink this much? And every time I take a break, like I have recently, I was even still drinking last night on stream, but I stopped. I went to bed sober, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got a great fucking night's sleep, and I woke up feeling really good. Same with yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so even this is another way to think about it too. Just to throw it out there, you may be drinking to fall asleep, but I will say this. I can get like 6 hours of sleep sober and feel 10 times better than 9 hours of sleep drunk.
There you go. That's very good. That's a good thing.
So think of it that way. Like, don't worry so much about the sleep thing. You know what I mean? Like, I know also like when my dad got sober, one of his big things was like, he was just like, you just don't sleep for like, you just don't get good sleep for like a week, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're going to sweat, you're going to toss and you turn, but you're making yourself better, and you know you are because you've mentioned it to us.
Tracy's Bad. Get a book. By the way, this is a good one for me.
Oh, God. Reading makes me sleepy.
Yeah, reading makes me sleepy, too. Also, reading I can't do when I'm drunk. So maybe get like a book you're really excited about, something you really want to read, put it next to the bed. Mm-hmm. You only read it in bed, and that's the way you do your nighttime thing. And then you'll be so happy. You're like, I'm so happy I'm not drunk right now because I'm really enjoying this fucking book right now. You know what I mean? What else do we got? McManwich, I've been dealing with my recent ex-girlfriend. I caught her smoking crystal meth in my bathroom. Jesus, McManwich, I haven't talked to you in months. What's going on?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad she's your ex-girlfriend if she's smoking weed and meth in your bathroom. Meth's a no-no drug. We're going to go ahead and call meth a no-no drug.
Yeah, I had to kick her out of my place and broke up with her, but I have spent the past month drug testing her every time I saw her. She wants us to get back together, but I cannot deal with the mistrust again. Should I keep her as a friend, or would it be better to cut all ties?
I mean, do you want to keep her as a friend? Do you enjoy her company? If you don't enjoy her company, I mean, then don't keep her as a friend.
It sounds like it's not even that as much as you're worried that you're going to fall back into it with her. And if you have that worry, I would maybe step away for a little while until you don't have that worry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I may be reading into it, but yeah.
I mean, you can't date a meth head.
You just can't put yourself into that situation.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. They'll put you in horrible situations.
You're really
lucky. And they'll make bad decisions that will infect your personal life.
You're really lucky. Could you imagine if you didn't know about this for another 3 years and you got engaged or you're married by that point, or you, God forbid, have a kid and then you find out about this thing?
Yeah.
You got out easy, buddy. So, I mean, if you're at all worried that staying friends with this person is going to maybe draw you back into a relationship with them, dude, you got out easy, so stay the fuck away. If you think, if that's your worry, I would probably stay away.
But at the same time, if you're worried about someone you care about,
yeah,
and you want to make sure that they're okay, I would message someone else that cares about them and let them know about what's going on and tell them that you have to remove yourself from the situation, but they need help.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then, you can always call the cops.
Because you can be sober for yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe call if she's, I don't know, dancing on the hood of your car or whatever at 3 in the morning. Yeah, you can be quote unquote sober and pass a drug test and still be like horribly in the throes of addiction. I mean, I've seen it time and time. They call it a dry drunk and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm working with people I know one person I have in mind that she's just not getting fixed, and even though she's passing drug tests, she's still clearly in the throes of it. You know what I mean? Just by the way she acts, by the way that she carries herself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You just know, you can tell it hasn't actually clicked in her head. She just literally, if she continues to do this, she's just going to end up right back in prison, right?
Yeah.
So it's this kind of like waiting to get out of probation thing, essentially, that's happening. So just know that you can pass a drug test. That doesn't mean you're sober. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
And you're gonna go, and if you drink a lot every day, you're gonna go through some withdrawals.
Yeah.
So know that's coming.
Yeah.
My friend who's drying out right now against their will. I'm real worried about them, and I hope they really get through it. I love them, and it all. I think it's going to work out fine because they are good people.
You got to have faith, I never, I got to the point with my dad where I thought I was on the verge of thinking he was a completely lost cause, and he has completely turned his life around to such a ludicrous degree that I feel bad for ever doubting it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just know that there is another side of that rainbow, but for now, I think you got to stay away.
Your dad's cool. Definitely nerdy-eared.
I have a weird problem where I have major imposter syndrome. I just finished my giant thesis, which took so much of my life effort out of me. By the way, congratulations again on that. I've never worked so hard in my life. I keep getting all these compliments and positive feedback, but I don't believe any of it. It's really hard to believe I deserve congrats/praise. It's not really a problem, but I'm wondering if you have any advice for how to take compliments, except that I did work hard. I will say my number one request from you is...
Did you cheat? It sounds like you cheated.
Nah, she didn't cheat.
I mean,
if
they're feeling fucking guilty, then they must have not done it right.
No, I think it's one of these where she's trying to say she doesn't know how to take a fucking compliment. What I was going to say is this. Just for everyone else's sake, don't bat the compliment down. It is one of my pet fucking peeves. If someone gives you a compliment, don't be like, no, but you know what I mean? And like negate it.
Compliments are like what we do everything for.
Think those thoughts, but don't say them, because when somebody genuinely compliments you and you negate it, it's actually kind of in a weird way it feels insulting to the person.
Yeah, because they went out of their way to fucking compliment you.
Yeah, and then it's also like one thing I hate is like when somebody, let's say somebody gets off stage from a stand-up set and somebody's like, great job, and they're just like some random fan who doesn't know any better, doesn't realize you didn't have as good of a set as you to your standards, and you're like, actually it was garbage. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's fucking insult. Then you're insulting their taste in comedy. Yeah, that's all that does. So please don't do that. Keep it in your brain. Do not say it out loud when somebody compliments you. It really sucks. And maybe in doing that, you'll learn slowly how to take a compliment. And it sounds like that means that unless you did cheat, which is Ed's theory, which it could be true, okay? Unless you didn't do that. If you didn't do that, I think that says more about your self-esteem. And I think that what you really need to look at is look inward into yourself and ask yourself why you don't think you deserve people to love you and think highly of you. And I think that comes down to your vision of yourself.
Yeah.
And so now you've figured out the problem. So let's explore that and let's try to find some self-worth.
In order to be good to other people, you have to be good to yourself first. You have to love yourself in order to love others.
Yes.
And so it's like you really need to do that. And if you do have low self-esteem, which you are saying that you do, nerdy yerd. I mean, you call yourself nerdy yerd. I mean, don't worry about it. There's nothing to have low self-esteem about because you are who you're going to be and you can't change it.
Yeah.
And so just ride it out. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I know nerdy yerd. I could tell by the question. I could tell. I feel like my brother literally beat me down if I won as a kid, and that's still taking effect. Says life is nice. I could see that. being a big issue.
You used to get your ass kicked by your brother when you were a kid.
When I beat him at Madden, but I was beating him.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like he can't take those W's back. You know what I mean? The bruise is healed. The W's remain. Okay. What else we got? Give us something out. I don't see one. I might have missed one. You know what? Feel free to copy and paste the one you did earlier because we may have missed ones. Terry the Gnome, how you doing, buddy? What's the brighter side of spending weeks working on art tests for no pay for jobs at the big boy video game companies and not getting a callback? Oh, how they toy with my emotions. I think Ed and I can both speak towards writing a packet, toiling over it for hours, and then just sending it into the fucking wind.
Get fucking used to it, bro.
Get used to it. But I will say this is the brighter side. The brighter side of that is every packet you send in, every art test you send in,
get better.
You're getting better. It's practice. Look at it that way. It's forcing you to have deadlines and write and draw and do whatever it is you're trying to do. And it's you gaining experience. It is EXP in an RPG, right?
And Terry, this might piss you off, but you gotta. It might be a rude thing to say, but I don't know. Maybe you're not ready.
Right.
Because I was put into situations just from Jeff being my cousin, where he put me in places where I was not ready to be there, and it hurt when I got my ass kicked in that situation.
Yeah, you could end up in a job that is like off. Like it was funny. Lexi was talking to me about this last night, and I do think I could probably at least walk in and like give a good attempt at it. But she was like pressuring me to like send in a packet for SNL this year, and I'm like, what? I might fucking hate that job. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, from what I've heard about what that job is, like having a writer job on SNL,
torture.
I might fucking hate that job. I like my life right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I would definitely do it. I'm not saying I would say no to a fucking writing gig on SNL, but sometimes it's not just that simple. You know what I mean? Where you just, like, get the job and then magically you just have this life you like.
Yeah.
You know? Those jobs could be awful. Like, I talked about this on page 7, but about how I cried when I didn't get this awful BuzzFeed job.
Yeah.
That I knew in my heart I would have hated, but it was
Julie had that job.
Yeah. It was awful. It was awful. But that was the sad part about it, right? Like, I knew I was going to hate that job. And thinking back on it now, I'm like, if I had gotten that job, it might have put me on a track that, like, really threw me off from where I'm at now.
Yeah.
It might have put me on a track where I'd be actually somewhere more miserable right now.
Oh, you'd be in some weird marketing job.
Yeah, like some ad copywriter job, and like never pursued the other stuff because I was like, no, this is my track now, and never like tried Twitch.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. What's the I've done theater and music my whole life, says Shando. It just went off the screen. Oh my god, where is it? I've done theater and music my whole life, says Chando Calrissian. I learned early on to just smile, make eye contact, and say thanks in a genuine way when receiving a compliment. That's all you have to do. 100%. Please listen to that advice.
Yeah, good advice.
Please listen to that advice.
And a lot of times I will say when people give you compliments, especially coming from, this is from a fat person, it's like, oh, you just think I'm fat all the time. Like I hate when I put on weight and I show up somewhere and they're like, oh, you're losing weight, huh? It's like, no, I'm not losing weight. I know when I'm losing weight. You just think I'm a fat piece of shit. You're surprised I'm not so fucking fat.
Not as fat as you were in my head. Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. Eugene Levy Official says, I'm on the road 350 days a year and lonely as fuck. How do I cure that?
350 days. You got to start making friends in all these different towns, man.
You got to know. You got to get into town. You got to be like, where's the good place to eat? Mm-hmm. You got to check. What do you do? Are you a trucker?
He sounds like a trucker.
Sounds like a trucker.
Do you have the CB radio? I miss that culture.
Well, the brighter side is robots are going to take your job over soon, and you'll be forced to work locally.
Yeah, I would say if you're on the road 350 days a year and you are lonely, then talk to people when you're on the road, get their number, and the next time you're coming through, you're like, hey, I'm coming through. Let's go get some coffee or something. Honestly, it will. I have people that I stay in touch with in all these different towns. I got people. I got a pipeline inspection.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not interesting.
That's
a
wild.
little different. So I was gonna say. Eugene Levy Official, I was going to say in response to that, I was like, well, truckers have like CV radios and they tend, from what I've heard, they have like a community through the radio dispatch.
Yeah.
So that would have been confusing if he was a trucker a little bit because there is actually a system in place for communication. Do you work with people? Hookers make great friends, says Dan Pearbig.
Yeah, Dan Pearbig's got his own thing going on. Eugene Levy Official, we were just talking on Instagram. Oh, it's so cool you showed up. Pipeline inspection. I don't know anything about your job.
That sounds intense. Is it dangerous?
Yeah. Are you up in with all the horrible stuff with the Native Americans going on? It sounds like it's a heavy time to do that job. You make friends wherever you go. Try to go out into diners, libraries, whatever you like to do, and just be social. And it's a lot.
Tinder is a good, if you're single, Tinder might actually be a good way to just meet up with people in random towns. Like that's a way people definitely, unfortunately it's like with the specific fucking premise of you have to be searching for sex that night.
Yeah.
If there was I wish there was like a clean, innocent, and I know that they have like websites for this, but none of them are popular.
Yeah.
Like a clean, innocent, like I'm a lonely dude in this town. I'm a pipeline instructor. I just would love to have a beer with a friend with no bullshit behind it. But obviously the internet will people will immediately fuck something like that up. But I do wish that sort of thing were more available.
I will say that I know when I'm in Denver, I can call up Dave. I know when I'm in Toronto, I can call up Petey.
Yeah,
I know when I'm in San Francisco, I can call up Nick Rue. I know, so it's like you gotta like meet these people and you get your boys and you get your people and every time you're around, you say hi. You don't be weird, then you leave.
Right.
People love that shit. It's where pen pals come from,
Yes, that is where pen pals come from.
Eugene Levy, we're still on him one quick. I do work with people, but different ones each job. It is decently dangerous at times.
Gotcha.
I work mostly older pipeline to assess damage and corrosion and shit and try to keep the product in the line. Thanks for the advice, though. God, man, that is a heavy job,
That is a heavy job.
That's crazy. Congrats on a cool... That's a job that matters.
I love the phrase, haha, it is decently dangerous at times. Nuka Babe has to interject about, I agree with a lot with what you guys have said, but I think the whole you have to love yourself first before you love others is a bit wrong. I think people genuinely want to help, love, and support one another, even if they can't see it in themselves yet. I think self-love is possible for everyone, and something that is, I hope everyone has that, and I know you didn't mean it this way. I'm just saying this, even if you don't love yourself, you're still deserving of love. 100%, but I think that I just feel like the symptom we caught here with Nerdy Yurdy was like the self-esteem is what's keeping her from accepting love from others, not loving others. She gives out love a lot and praise and is very positive towards other people. I think it's more her ability to just receive it seems blocked by something within herself, whether it's self-esteem, whether it's this or that, but we have to figure out probably, or she does rather, what that blockage is and to try to like open the doors on that. Even if it's I always say fake it till you make it, but even if it's a fake it till you make it, like, you know what I mean? Like, just be like, thank you so much. And, you know, just take it in and don't try to spit it back out or negate it in your own head or whatever. And maybe someday you'll be able to hear a compliment and be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm a badass motherfucker.
Everybody has different ways of dealing with everything, though. I mean, that's kind of how I go through my life is I make sure the people closest to me and me are good first. Right. And then I start working on everyone else.
Right.
You know, and that's just how I deal with shit. I mean, every person's different. I think, you know, whenever I suggest people smoke weed and they're like, weed makes me crazy. Yeah. Every person's different. You know, so, I mean, if it works for you, try it. I mean, just try it, and if it works for you, do it. And if it doesn't work, then get rid of it.
That's such a good analogy, the weed thing, because, like, literally Lexi is like, I love it when you smoke. You're so much, this is bad, but she's like, you're so much nicer when you're high. But like other people, it gives them crippling anxiety. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's like just 100% not the case. Though I do feel like it is because I put myself through the obstacle course of anxiety to the point where weed never doesn't affect me in that way anymore. And therefore I'm just like, I made it to the other side of the anxiety mountain that is smoking weed all the time. And so now I'm like completely fine. Being casual friends with people is so much better this day and age when everyone wants you to know everything about them. I guess that's true.
Yeah, I'm going to have dinner with a buddy that we've only hung out like 5 times, but we're going to go have dinner tonight just because I'm in town and we get along.
I feel like I'm having a little bit of an issue with that, and I need to be better with that. And it's just of just allowing myself to like have new friends and more ingratiated into my community because I'm so protective of just the small orb of friends that I have.
Well, if you want to have dinner at 9 o'clock, you can hang out with Ian.
Maybe I will. Ian, I'm coming for you. I'm going to make it real bad. It's going to be real bad. I'm going to keep spamming this a lot. I tried to date my best friend, and it is not going well. What is the brighter side? Ouch.
I mean,
glad we caught that one. That was a good one.
I tried to date my best friend once, and it did not work out. She ended up being gay. And
that was like high school then, right?
College.
College.
But it was a high school friend, and she ended up being gay, and we went through, I'd say, and I was, you know, of course I was like super into her because I chose to tell my best friend that I was, you know, had feelings for her. So obviously that's a big lay your cards on the table type of situation. And so if you are like, you know, it's hard, but. And today we're better friends than we've ever been. And so it's just, you're going to go through a little rough patch if it didn't work out. And then if you guys truly were best friends, it'll just go back to normal. You know, and it's just, you know, you just got to be careful with that kind of stuff because you got to remember, you know, you don't want to fuck up the great relationships in your life.
Yeah, unfortunately, it might just take a little time to, you know, a little time away from each other to, like, reset the clock a little bit in terms of friendship stuff. You know, I feel like a lot of times, this is a little different, but I feel like every single time I see people try to break up clean and stay friends, like, immediately after the breakup, it always explodes in their faces about 3 months later. So you may just need to take, unfortunately, like a year off even or something like that. And I know that might be hard to hear, but just to try to reset the clock, just to try to go back to the way things work, because you can't force it, unfortunately, a lot of times. But things can go back, that's for sure.
I'm friends with all my exes, and except for one I'm not friends with.
I am technically okay with all of them.
Yeah. That's all you can ask for.
That's about all you can ask for. I don't even try to play that game.
That's good.
I don't even try to play that game. I hate everyone, so shut up. Says, I don't know if this helps anyone, but everyone should know that we are never alone in happiness or pain. We have each other to back each other up. Also, and speaking of that said, I think that's a lot in reference to what Nerdy Yurdy was talking about. I too have felt that way about being non-deserving of praise, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's been there. Like, you're not alone in that regard whatsoever. And I don't like to be, you know, sometimes Lexi will say something really nice about me and I'll kind of just be like, cool. It's like, sometimes it's hard. I just can't hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to hear a little bit sometimes when I'm kind of in my own little, because a lot of my shit is like, I'm like a little bit of a whipping boy. I feel like, you know, I want to keep the pain on the like, you need to be better on so that I can keep climbing up the mountain. And if I worry that if I start getting to, you're doing great, exactly what you're doing and not beating myself up at all, then I'll like plateau and I won't continue to excel. So
always got to beat yourself up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Nuka Babe, I feel like I'm at a crossroads in my life. I had a plan to change some things in my life, but my recent financial problems have caused me to put a pin in my plans, and it's killing me. I was so ready to leave this crappy town and job and make real change in my life, and now I'm stuck here because I have no money. A part of me just wants to say fuck it and go through with my plan, take the leap, and hope for the best, but another part of me just thinks I should stick with where I am and just play.
I mean, you know, it's hard to move somewhere with no money. I moved to New York with $1,000, and that was very difficult, you know.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you don't know where it's going to take you. I mean, it's being broke's awful. It's truly awful. And most of us are broke, and most of us are going to continue to be broke for a very long time.
I will say this. Can I ask you this, Ed? Where were you financially when you moved to New York? Because I know I had fucking kind of I did have a little bit of support strings with my parents. Yeah. So I will say that. I wasn't like totally just easy breezy or totally just like roughing it, you know, boots on the concrete when I got up there. But in a way I was, because I was so afraid of receiving said support from my family and failing and having to move back, that it really forced me to scream, scramble, fight hard for a job, yada, yada, yada. If you were to ask me personally, I would say no time but today, fucking go. Like, change your life.
You can do it.
Take risks.
It's hard.
Yeah, it sucks. It's hard, but you're also probably going to learn more in the next year if you do this than in the next 5 years if you stay home.
Just make sure you got somewhere to live.
Yeah, I don't want to like advise you to like end up homeless is the thing, so it's hard for me. I don't know your specific situation, so it's hard for me to speak towards that. But just at face value, I would say make the leap, because you even if it's the worst year of your life, you're going to grow more in that year than in, I would even say, a decade of staying at home and being safe.
What I did when I moved to New York to do Murder Fist and all that stuff was I had $1,000. And so I moved to New York. I took 2 weeks of just learning the city. I didn't do anything but that. And then I'm very lucky that I have a good resume. I have a good cook resume.
Yeah.
I was a cook for many years before I moved to New York, and so I just printed out a lot of copies of my resume, and I picked what neighborhood I wanted to work in, and I walked around that neighborhood and gave my resume to everyone, and I had a job later that day. And that's happened to me 3 times since I've been in New York, and it happened to me in Tallahassee, and but like I said, I have a lot of experience in one thing. So it was fortunate for me. But if you have a decent resume, just pick where you want to go and just show your face and tell people you're going to work and be ready to start work right then.
Yeah.
That's just always
hit
like,
the ground running.
Yeah.
Use that fear. If you're afraid, if you move somewhere new and you don't know where like your next paycheck's coming from and you're that afraid, it will actually though motivate you more than people who show up with 20 grand. Or like, I'll take a couple months off. I'll start looking for a job in a month. Like, those people end up more fucked. Yeah. But if you go and you're broke and you're like, I don't know where my fucking next meal is going to come from. Like, I hate it. I always bring this up recently or whatever. But, again, J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book, a single mother on fucking welfare, fucking in cafes, roaming around the streets, because that's the only way she could get her baby to go to sleep was by taking it out onto the streets for walks, and she'd wait for it to go to sleep and then sit at a cafe and furiously write, and she literally had nothing. She was completely depressed. She was in the worst throes of her life, and I think that's exactly how a book like that can be written. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just the way that the most incredible shit happens is out of pure desperation, and fear. Let fear drive you. You know what I mean? Fear can be like the best motivator in the world, right? I mean, Lord knows it's fucking 9/11. You know what I mean? Not to bring that fucking can of worms into this.
There was another incident on 9/11 that no one ever talks about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, in 1905, there was a train car derailment.
Really?
Yeah, the 13 people died. Another 48 were hurt.
Interesting.
So there's been 2 9/11s.
Interesting.
One was, much worse.
Much worse. I would say one is way worse.
But don't, never forget both, is what I'm trying to say. So the whole thing, you die twice. I preach it all the time. You die twice. You die. It's very Coco. You die when you die.
It's very Coco.
And then you die the last time anyone says your name.
Spoiler alert, though, on that one, a little bit. Man, I cried watching that fucking movie, dude. Wow, dude. That one got me good.
I love my Coco. Mama Coco. This one's for you.
I love the Coco. Chaotic neutral. Brighter side of making decent money, but living like a trashy hoarder. Oh, God, we've caught up. Thank God. My front room is just boxes and lamps and bullshit.
Your front room's looking nice.
No. Chaotic neutral's front room.
Oh, I thought you were talking about yourself. I'm sorry. Sorry, chaotic neutral. Your place probably isn't as nice as Holden's.
I haven't unpacked into. Yeah, Lexi does all this fucking. What do you think I fucking? Actually, I've been helping out a little bit too with that. All right, let's restart. Brighter side of making decent money but living like a trashy hoarder. My front room is just boxes and lamps and bullshit. I haven't unpacked in 2 years since my move. I can't motivate to go through the boxes. I'm just a drunk garbage human right now. I go to work and come home and see this mountain of boxes. Fuck it. I'd rather drink and sleep. Man, how do we get this guy out of it? How do you?
1 box a week.
1 box a week, dude.
How about that?
How about that?
1 box a week.
I
Slowly
like that.
do the boxes, and then you'll get through with it eventually.
I like that.
Yeah.
1 box a week.
Fuck it. Don't go too
Yeah.
crazy. If you're having a problem doing it, because you know what, when you go through it, you're gonna do 1 box a week, and then one day you're gonna open up a box and you're like, oh man, this is so interesting, and then you're gonna really want to go through and find old family photos and whatever you got in there that's gonna be like, oh man, this cup, I love this fucking cup. And you're gonna have all these great memories come back to you when you start going through your stuff. And then once it's set up, you're going to be so fucking happy. But, I understand. I've lived like an animal. I knew plenty of great human beings who live like animals, So, 1 box a week. 1 box a week. Don't stress out about it, just like, and then you get to chill, watch TV still, but, you got 1 box.
1 box a week. I like that. Bonus points if you do 2. Here's another thing, too. You say you like drinking. Just drink while you're doing, at least do that. Like a lot of times when I don't want to do something, I'll be like, I don't want to do the dishes right now. I'll smoke a little, then I'll do the dishes. That'll make it like a fun, you know what I mean? Like, if you, whatever your vice is, give yourself that vice either as a reward for doing the box, or enjoy your vice while going through the box.
I used to use it as a reward. I still do. When I was a cook, I used to, if I had to go to the bathroom, I'd be like, all right, I got to get through this, batch of chili before I'll let myself go to the bathroom, and then it'll be a reward. I was torturing myself. But at the same time, I enjoyed the pee so much more.
Absolutely. My fiance loves to organize and fix things, says India. He's a damn angel in my life. Me, on the other hand, just a slob, I'll be honest. Yeah, so that's the thing. I feel like Lexi, and I, not to rub it in or whatever with people who don't have SOs, but Lexi just makes me not have a place with shit, and there's cupboards.
Your cubby holes are
there's
very
little cubby
nice.
holes. That was her online for hours. I put it together. You know what I mean? I do my fucking work.
It looks fairly sturdy.
Thank you. I do my fucking work, but this is exactly. I listen to a specific podcast whenever I do the dishes, and it feels like a reward every time I do the dishes. Yeah, same here. I smoke a little, throw on a little podcast. Yeah. Get the dishes done. It's part of my day. It's enjoyable. I actually we'll close out with MD Leo Spacemans. I actually use cleaning. What I do is when I go on a run, and when I get back from the run, I have to just kind of stand there and sweat anyways. Yeah. So that's when I'll do the dishes, make the bed, tidy up. Because what else am I going to fucking do? Find those little holes in your life. You know what I mean? Find those little holes in your life. Stick your fucking dick in them. Okay? With consent. With consent, though, as long as the dishes consent. We have to open the box before we are allowed to be human. Me and AMI are so codependent, so that's a good idea. We're both fucked if we don't do our chores. Thank you, boys. No problem. All right. Let's close out with MD Leo Spaceman. Brighter side of living an extremely lonely life. 5 or so years ago, all my friends and I hung out multiple times a week. Now all of them are married and have kids. This is just like my brother's story, and no time to hang out. My best friend moved an hour away, and I only get to see him once every other month. I find myself getting so empty and just craving being around someone. Brighter side.
Well, your friends are busy, and it doesn't make you less friends with them. That's happening to all of us right now. Murder Fist is spread all over the country, and even though I live 1 block from Henry, I see him twice a month. So it doesn't matter. It's just that's what happens when you get older. You're just growing up. And so what you do is, if you have a different life than them and you don't have kids, like this guy over here, I mean, you start finding other friends, and you don't have to like them more or as much, or it's not a contest. It's not a contest. So just like,
but that's really hard. It's really easy to say, really hard to feel. My brother went through this exact thing, dude. He stayed in his town where he grew up. All of his friends who, like, from high school or whatever, they all were on a track. Yeah. And it's so hard to divorce yourself from the track that they are on.
Well, yeah, because you love them so much.
And you're comparing. You can't help but compare. I did it with all of you guys. You know what I mean? And in our career. So it wasn't replace marriage and kids with comedy career, writing job, you know what I mean? Successful podcast, whatever it was, right? Yeah. And so it's so hard to, like, and it's so much easier for me now. I feel like I'm on a little bit of a hill where I'm able to be like, oh, we're all doing great. I'm so happy for everybody. But it was, I agree. I completely get what you're saying, MD Leo Spaceman. I had a really hard time being happy for you and your, like, life, you know what I mean? And being happy for, like, last podcast and stuff for a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just got, I hit a point in my life. I got real, I look back at it now. I'm like, dude, you were such a turd. Like, I was petty. I was, like, so just jealous, dude, in my shitty office at my insurance job. You know what I mean? I mean, could you imagine if you were still working as a cook, all of us were doing kind of what we're doing now, and you're still in a kitchen, miserable, cooking for a living.
I guess I can't say that I would know how I would feel because I'm not in that situation.
Yeah, you've kind of had a trajectory that was pretty smooth. I'm talking about the one window of time where, like, everybody was doing really well. It was really hard to not feel that way. I'm just commiserating with you.
But I'm different though. I'm able to center my chi pretty well.
You're more happy. You're more able to be happy for other people. I'm openly admitting, like, I know this about myself, and I actively try to, like, divorce that from my true self. But it takes a little work. I can be petty, dude. I can be like, you know what I mean? And
the only thing that makes me happy is seeing you guys. I miss everybody.
Yeah, I miss everybody too.
That's all I want. That's all I want is that just to hang out 100%. And be around.
I'm talking about, like, a bad version of me that happened for, like, a year, and I literally had to drag my own body out of the hole.
But I get jealous that way though.
You know what I mean?
Like, I'll say, like, I was getting jealous that I didn't get to hang out with you in L.A. And then you were at Jackie's every day, and I wasn't getting calls. And I'm like, what? They don't like me no more? So it's just like, so it was, it's the same thing.
Right. Just in a different, but that yours a much more pure way. I think mine's a shittier way. That's a loving place in Agata Davida. I'm talking about being a shit. And I'm glad I'm not that person anymore, but it definitely took some self-reflection for me to get to that point.
I'll tell you what. You know what happens for you when you feel jealousy, and, like, for anyone who's doing better than you, they ain't gonna take you with them.
Yeah,
they're not gonna help.
No, you have to do it yourself.
You have to be down with what they're doing, and that's just what it is.
You have to do, and I see, because now I'm on the other side of it, and I'm still in contact with people who remind me of that person that I was, and there's nothing I can say. I want to say, just get out of it. You know what I mean? Just you have to do it. It's not my fault. It's not anybody else you've worked with's fault. I know you think it is. I know you want it to be. But you have to get yourself out of it, and no one else will help you. And then once you do get out of it, you will feel so much better because you did it yourself.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard to get there.
Just be so happy. Just be happy. As happy as you can be. I know it's an easy thing to just say, because I know people are depressed, and other people have chemical imbalances,
chemical issues,
and, like, stuff that I don't truly understand.
Yeah.
But if you can just fucking learn how to center your goddamn chi and be happy for everybody. And then all of a sudden, don't get mad. Getting mad is so hard.
Yeah.
It is so time-consuming. And just you get you in your negative brain space. And you can't do that for yourself.
Yeah.
You just got to just be nice.
Just be nice.
It's so much easier.
Yeah, don't even be happy. Just put out positive shit to the people around you. Because we all sponge it up And when you're just a constant ball of fucking negativity, it sucks. And no one likes it, and no one wants to be around it. So stop doing it, okay?
I'm not calling any negative fuckers to hang out. I tell you that much.
I don't want to be around it, and it's happening, I feel like, a lot, like, rampantly lately, so it sticks out even more like a sore thumb. So please knock it the fuck off.
I gotta say, man, New York right now, real negative.
Yeah.
It's real aggressive and real negative right now. I've seen it before. I saw it like 10 years ago, but like, I mean, I feel it. I feel the energy in this town. Everyone's fucking mad.
Interesting.
You know,
yeah.
It's not like this in LA right now. And so it's just like, it's very,
I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm not noticing it because I'm really hiding from everything. I feel like these days, like, I am excited. I'm going to Governor's Ball on Saturday. I just can't wait to just get outside, just be around people, hopefully all having a good time. I will be noticing that, though. It'll be interesting. I hope we can all be at a music festival and just have a good time together.
Yeah.
And remember what we're all in this for.
There's a very upset energy. Everyone's ready to be mad.
Yes.
Some dude just tried to fight me for no reason the other day. Like, it was crazy.
Scared me. I don't even want to leave the apartment now. Ubers everywhere. LA's not catching that vibe.
I mean, there's always like some of it, but you know, like no matter where you go, people are gonna be mad. But I mean, I'm feeling some real general coming at it. I mean, New York hasn't always been an angry place, but I'm feeling it hard right now.
Right.
I don't know, this trip especially. And maybe I'm just being judgmental, but
yeah,
you know, there's a chance. But I would say, you know, everyone needs to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, agreed. I wish you all would, and I hope you all do, and I hope I do too. And thank you, Ed, for doing this brighter side with me, man.
I love you guys.
Love you guys.
You know who's being negative earlier today? We all like to end on a song. We're not going to play it here, but I want you to go listen to it if you can. And then it'll be on the end of the radio podcast of this.
Sure.
But guys, I met YG today. And he got a bad review from Rolling Stone. He came in, he's like, we did the Breakfast Club this morning.
YG's hip hop dude?
Hip hop dude.
Yeah, I like his stuff.
Yeah, and so we walk in and YG was just like, he looked at me and Jeff and he was just like, you know Dan some Jewish name, Dan Schwartz? And we're like, nah. And he's like, man, fuck Dan Schwartz. You know, because he gave him a bad review in Rolling Stone. And so we're like, oh man, I'm glad we're not Dan Schwartz. But
Scary, yeah.
I will say I listened to YG's album and I don't like it that much. And so listen to Schoolboy Q. He's got a great new album. Gang Gang, baby.
YG's last album I think was good. All right, let's end it on that. Have a good one, everybody. And hey, we'll
watch Historical Roast.
Yeah, watch Historical Roast. Jack and Ease on Friday night, and that's all I got to say about that. Peace.